And we really want you to enjoy this launch of this amazing opportunity to connect together under the Culture Solidarity Funds. As I said, I'm the director of Disability Arts Cymru. We've been based in Wales since 1982, and we've been really delighted to be able to be the sort of lead partner and bringing people together in the room. So thank you everyone for being here. The project, we've decided to keep it in Welsh as a name, but I'm a Scouser. That means I'm from Liverpool. So the way I pronounce it is a challenge to me, but I'm going to give it a go. It's Ni Cain Ein Delay. And it really is about, do not forget us as disabled people. The COVID has caused a lot of issues for us. And this project is all about the response of COVID and the pandemic to us as disabled people across Europe. In the UK, we know over 60% of those who have died due to COVID have been disabled people. The various lockdowns have exacerbated some of the issues we already face as disabled or deaf people. Entire nations have experienced a new reality. And as we start to reopen, we need to ensure we as disabled people can continue to play a full part in the new normal. I'm delighted on behalf of Disability Arts Cymru to introduce you to each of the partnerships who will do it in turn as they come into the talk throughout this hour from the 4 countries that are involved. And first of all, I'm going to introduce Owen Nash from the Republic of Ireland and the Cope Foundation. Over to you, Owen.
Thank you. My name is Owen Nash. I'm a 42-year-old white male, brown hair, wearing glasses now, green jumper with a yellow stripe. I work with an organisation called Cope Foundation, as Ruth said, based in Ireland. And I'm delighted to have been asked, and our team to have been asked, to be part of this project. So Cope Foundation is a non-for-profit organisation based in Cork, Ireland. The organisation supports over 2,300 children and adults with an intellectual disability and or autism. We have around 70 locations across the city and county. Currently, I'm using some slides to show some of the text, and on this slide I have an image of a participatory museum, because a lot of our work is about participation. And in that image, you see an old style building with huge columns at the front, with many people contributing to the development or use of the building. But at the front of the picture, you see people looking on at that. And I often use this image to talk about who gets to engage and be part of the building process and who is left outside. So we use this image. In addition to my work in Cope Foundation, I'm a board member of an organisation called the EASPD, which stands for the European Association of Service Providers for Persons with Disabilities. This is a European-wide umbrella organisation representing over 17,000 disability service provider organisations across the EU. And as well as my role as a board member, I have a portfolio for arts and culture, and I chair the Members Forum on Arts and Culture, which is a platform for the exchange of information and good practices in supporting participation in cultural life and access to arts, in line with Article 30 of the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. In our work there, we develop arts and educational projects through the Erasmus Plus and Creative Europe streams, and other funding opportunities with a focus on implementing the UNCRPD. And we also work and will be working to implement the new European strategy on the rights of persons with disabilities, which was just released last Wednesday, actually. We develop conferences and publications related to arts and culture. We partner with many agencies, and we're delighted to meet these new agencies that we'll be partnering with on this project. And we work to ensure that we can influence policy and strategy, ensuring that there's creatives and disability representation on the different groups. Suaisha Arts is a wing of Cope Foundation, and this is the primary piece of work that I'm leading at the moment with Cope Foundation. And in this slide that I have up, there are 6 different images. One image depicts a group that we work with at a festival, an event, in costume with white jumpsuits and big eyes that we used and developed. The second image is of 2 visual artists working and learning together. The third image is of a trip we did as part of an Erasmus Plus program to Italy, where about 30 young people are all raising their hands, looking into a camera in lots of different colors and costumes. The fourth picture is a picture of a choir in front of, behind an orchestra, and at a performance that we were involved in. The fifth image is of dancers working together with their arms stretched out. And the sixth picture is of a theatre production where 5 people are sitting on the ground, and the image is taken from behind stage towards front of stage, where you see actors on the ground. So these images represent the different forms of arts that we work in and through: street arts, film, dance, music, theatre, and visual arts. In addition to that, I have some logos on it of different European projects that we have been involved in, including Creative Inclusion in Adult Education, CIAE, another logo called Sign and Sound Theatre.eu, and another logo image of ISA, Inclusive Society Through the Arts. So this gives an overview of the different types of work that we're currently involved in locally, nationally, and internationally. One of the questions that was posed to us is, why are we here and part of this project? We're here to support the We Will Not Be Erased initiative by bringing our creative, strategic, practical, and networking experience to the team. We contributed to the application process and will continue to support the project. And we want to work collaboratively on disability rights in and through the arts. And finally, I have an image taken by Simon McKeown of an artist lying on the ground, looking up. And I often use this image of an artist that I work with to think about the dreams and potentials to become an actor. That concludes my presentation and introduction, and I'm now going to hand you over to Maria from Accesso Cultura in Portugal. Thank you.
Thank you, Owen. Thank you, everyone who's here with us today. I am Maria Vlacho, the Executive Director of Accesso Cultura, based in Portugal. I'm a 50-year-old wearing a black top. Accesso Cultura, or Access Culture, is an 8-year-old culture organization, not for profit, which promotes physical, social, and intellectual access to cultural participation. We try to fulfill this mission with a number of training courses, seminars, an annual conference, public debates. We also carry out access audits. We have publications which are available, some of them in English, available on our website. And we also created a website called Accessible Culture, in Portuguese, Cultura Acessível, where we bring together information on accessible culture offer in Portugal. I have to say that we were very happy and honored to receive the invitation to be partners in this project. The pandemic has fortunately obliged many of us to reconsider the way we live our lives and the way we do our work. It has also made obvious, even to those more distracted, that this situation does not have the same impact on everyone's life. Some existing inequalities have become more intense and more urgent to deal with, and we wish to deal with them respectfully and creatively. And this is what this project means to us. I would invite you now to watch a short film. It's called, in Portuguese, No Tempo em que Víamos a Cidade pelas Janelas. In English, In the Time We Watched the City from Our Windows. An idea of Mario Melo Costa and Marco Paiva. This is a film made with texts and illustrations made by children from 5 to 14 years old during the first lockdown. It has Portuguese Sign Language and English captions. So let's watch it.
Dezessete horas em ponto. Saí da sala de aula a correr. As mãos tão encardidas de terra como os ténis brancos que tinha estreado naquele dia. Eu não queria acreditar. As férias da Páscoa iam começar mais cedo. Parece que havia um vírus qualquer que tinha obrigado todas as escolas do país a fechar. Por mim, tudo bem. O barulho que fazíamos a correr em direção ao portão era tão ensurdecedor que a Dona Maria do Carmo, que habitualmente está na casinha de guarda à entrada da escola, levou as mãos aos ouvidos e disse qualquer coisa que só ela deve ter escutado. Enquanto corria ombro a ombro com a Leonor para ver quem era a primeira a cortar a meta, lembrei-me que assim que chegasse a casa ia avisar os avós de que naquela mesma noite ia pedir ao pai para me levar para a casa deles. Não valia a pena esperar pelo dia combinado, na semana seguinte. A escola fechou. O pai tinha de continuar a trabalhar e eu não podia ficar sozinha em casa, portanto... E em casa dos avós eu podia estar com as primas, que muito provavelmente estariam naquele preciso momento a gritar e a correr em direção a uma Dona Maria do Carmo, guardiã da casinha da entrada da escola onde elas andam. Passei o portão primeiro do que a Leonor, que ficou com a alça da mochila presa na porta da casinha da Dona Maria do Carmo. Parei, olhei para trás... Sorri para a Leonor e disse-lhe: boas férias, vemo-nos daqui a 15 dias. O pai já estava dentro do carro à minha espera. Eu entrei, apertei-lhe o pescoço, ele deu-me um beijo na testa e disse-me que já sabia que as minhas férias iam começar mais cedo. Eu perguntei como é que ele sabia e ele disse que tinha ouvido nas notícias. Mas ele não estava com um ar muito feliz e, na verdade, eu não consegui perceber porquê. Eu já estava de férias. Ele podia levar-me mais cedo para os avós e aproveitar a calma da casa ao final do dia, estendido no sofá, com um pacote de bolachas numa mão, o comando da televisão na outra e o telemóvel estendido nos joelhos. Vou ter de trabalhar a partir de casa e tu não podes ir para os avós, disse ele. Estávamos a 12 de março de 2020.
I hope you enjoyed this. Now I'll pass on to Dominic Williams from Write for Word. Dominic?
Thank you, Maria. Good afternoon. I'm Dominic and I represent Write for Word. I'm a middle-aged white man with a bald head and a small amount of stubble, and today I'm wearing a grey floral shirt. Write for Word is a small community interest company based in Wales that works with the language arts. And by that, we mean all forms of literature and spoken word. Our aim is to develop writers, and we use writing to develop people. So we're involved in many creative projects, which employ creativity to support well-being, as well as extending literary performance. Write for Word is led by myself and Mel Perry. We're both self-employed creative practitioners ourselves, and we're directors in voluntary roles. Mel is hearing impaired, and I, over the years, have experienced several medically treated extended episodes of poor mental health. My fellow founding member of Right for Word, Anthony Jones, was bipolar and took his own life in 2017. Mel and I are both members of DAC, and although we do not work exclusively with disabled communities, we are in practice a disability-led organisation. I've worked with our Welsh partners DAC for 15 years and our Swedish partners Cultivera for 9 years. Right for Word is also the lead in an international partnership with cultural and arts organisations called Cultural Europe. And the idea behind that partnership is to ensure that Wales remains creatively connected to Europe in a post-Brexit world. For Mel and I, the artistic vision in our creative practice is very much built upon collaboration and partnership. We have experience of leading pan-European projects, and when we were offered the opportunity to be part of the Cawn Delay, a project that may enhance the solidarity between disabled communities throughout Europe and help develop any creative channels to give those communities a voice, we were, of course, very, very pleased and excited to be part. One of the ways that we have worked with DAC previously is by having a role in the Creative Word project. I was honoured to be one of the judges in the 2020 Creative Writing competition, and Right for Word were also able to offer a performance platform for the disabled writers who won the Creative Word Awards. We regularly host spoken word events, and we've taken that format online since the pandemic. And this transition has made those events more international and more accessible. So I'm pleased once again to be able to introduce to a virtual audience the award-winning poet, Catherine Davis.
Hello everyone, I'm a 46-year-old female with brown hair tied back, and I'm wearing a black and white top today for the talk. My poem is called A Nursery Rhyme. It's in a simple form. It tries to express the complexities of the pandemic. It was written in the first wave, March, April last year, and I was thrilled to be highly commended in the DAC Outdoors Indoors Creative Word Award. So thank you very much for inviting me, and here is my poem. A Nursery Rhyme. Freedom in the water, freedom in the sea, freedom in the brightest sky, 1, 2, 3. Slogans on the billboards, slogans on our lips, all stay in, go out, stay in, 4, 5, 6. Rainbows in the sunshine, rainbows in the rain, rainbows at the hospital, 7, 8, 9. Roses for the dying, roses for the well, roses at the supermarket, 10, 11, 12. 30,000 counting, 30,000 gone. Many thousand yet to go. 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much, and I'd like to introduce Karen and Colin from Cultivera.
Hiya, Catherine. Colin, I will let you go next.
Okay. Hi, my name is Colin O'Kiernan. I'm a 52-year-old man, white, going bald, well, not going bald anymore, pretty bald, with glasses, a beard, and a dark blue shirt. Cultivera is a small organization in Toronto, Sweden, with 3 part-time employees that work with the arts. Cultivera was founded in 2013 and has since then been working with professional artists from all over the world, with literature including poetry and spoken word, contemporary and visual arts, and dance. Cultivera is probably best known for hosting the annual Toronto at the Fringe Festival, but we also organise residencies for artists every year and arrange several seminars, workshops, readings, and much more. Themes that we work with as starting points are, for example, connecting creativity, creating dialogue between exploring minds, disciplines, backgrounds, and cultures, to pave the way for unexpected experiences, Can the blending of professional artists, amateurs, disabled audiences and public generate the foundation necessary for creating art? The concept of time and space. Most regions consist of small towns from where normality stems, their attitudes, thoughts, and behaviors shaping our daily lives. Is it not from these places between somewhere and nowhere, cultural heritage is created and evolved, where artists, with the help of local outlook, can use that to renew the global art form, and the concept of still standing. Every day we experience oppression and resistance strategies and tactics in relation to our governments, our neighbours, and even ourselves. How can we, despite these repressions, remain strong and find new expressions? I would think at this point I'm meant to maybe go over to Sarah.
Hi, Colm. No, it's all right. Karen is going to go next to introduce the film.
Okay, yeah.
To Karen.
So the next person up is Karen Althén. She is the person who shall be running the project here in Sweden, and she'll be introducing the film that's coming next.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Karen from Sweden, and I will share a film with you, animated short film, which I got from Brazil, actually, but it's not from Brazil originally. So it's a short animated film about passing on compassion in the neighborhood, and we all need that these days. So enjoy.
Thank you, Karen, for sharing that lovely film with us. Thanks, Rachel. As Ruth said earlier, Disability Arts Cymru has been in existence in a number of forms since 1982, but always with the same aim, and that is to provide opportunities for disabled artists to access the arts at every level, to celebrate diversity and inspire change throughout Wales. DAC is disability-led and focused to reflect the lived experience of disabled and deaf people. In working to the social model of disability, we acknowledge that it is systemic barriers, negative attitudes, and exclusion by society that are the main instrumental factors in disabling people. The arts provide a platform that can be used to challenge the prevalent negative perceptions of disabled people, highlight inequalities, and support social justice alternatives. DAC uses the arts to educate, challenge attitudes, challenge and remove barriers that restrict life choices for disabled people to live independently and equally within society. We saw the potential of the EU Culture of Solidarity Fund to enable us to extend the conversations we are having with disabled people in the UK to our friends in Europe, to learn from each other's contexts, to share lived experience, identify opportunities, and conceive our futures. Through working with our partners and online interactions, we hope to identify long-term action to tackle existing inequalities, and to do all this through the lens of arts and culture, and providing artists across Europe to create new work that can be shared and exhibited on online platforms. It now gives me great pleasure to return to Ruth, who is going to introduce our very welcome speaker. Thank you, Ruth.
Thank you. Yeah, it's so hard in a room because we can't applaud, but we have seen people putting their hands up in our wave within deaf culture. So please feel free to do that. And maybe at the very end, after the last speaker, we'll turn our mics off and just have a little roar together. But thank you. We are really on time with what we're doing, which is fantastic. But I'm really honoured now to invite our guest speaker. Vici Wreford-Sinnott is someone I've known for a long, long time. We've been through a lot of ups and downs through life working in disability and deaf arts. But she has so experienced and been an absolute brilliant campaigner in really fighting the corner for disabled people and their voices into particularly what this pandemic has been doing to our lives. So please welcome her with a little deaf wave as I hand over to Vicky. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Thank you so much, Ruth. Thank you to everybody. What a brilliant event this is. I feel so excited, so honoured to be here. I'm going to take a little bit of time just to talk about our experiences both before the pandemic, now, and where the hope lies, really. I'm a tall white woman in my 50s with bright turquoise hair. I'm wearing dark rimmed glasses, a black top and a colourful scarf. My pronouns are she, her, and I use the term disabled person when describing myself. As I said, I'm pleased to be here. My talk is presented under a number of different headings, the first of which is I am who I am. We must state who we are without apology. So my name is Vicky, and I'm a disabled human being, which for me means that I am disadvantaged by society's systemic and cultural barriers. However, I am also a mum, a partner, I'm an artist, I'm a punk, I'm a writer for theatre and for screen, I'm an activist, and I bake amazing cakes. I hope I'm good company, and I hope I'm a good friend. Like all disabled people, like all people, we are so many things, so many vital things to our families, our communities, and society. And so today I speak to you with complete solidarity. And I also want to recognise disabled people all over the world in all of our intersectional communities, Black, Asian, and people of mixed heritage, LGBTQIA+, younger, older, transgender disabled people, those who are segregated and institutionalised, and those whose society silence and erase them. I will speak to my own experience, but I acknowledge and value the experiences of others. We are not a community without everyone. It's essential to get used to stating who we are with pride and without apology. It's important that we do that and that we claim space and our rightful place in the world. I celebrate you. The pandemic has brought terrible realities for so many of us. It has brought the pre-existing condition of disability discrimination to the fore. And so I'm going to offer a content warning that I will be covering what has happened to us, what our testimonies are of this period. But it's also essential to make space to talk about unity, positivity, and hope. I believe that art and culture are key to changing the status of disabled people, and I join you happily in this call to action. Disability is family. Disability is family. It's your mum, it's your dad, it's my partner, it's their kids, it's your aunt, it's your uncle, it's people that we love and spend time with every day. It's me and it's you. And if it's not you now, it might be you in the future, because as we know, 70% of us become disabled as we age. It's a natural part of life. Disability is community. It's our neighbours, it's our colleagues, it's people that we care about and value. So I wonder, how do we get from that local family neighbourhood position to one of complete inhumanity at societal levels? How does it happen that we sweep massive proportions of society to the furthest margins and show them the least regard? How do disabled people have such low status? As we know, we are positioned as the deficit version of a human being. Now, as a disabled person, some of what I know is because I know it. I live it. My friends, family, and colleagues live it. We, as disabled people, know exactly what is happening during the pandemic. We live it. But the narrative is out of our hands. Our story seems to be in the hands of others. Ideas about disability have been constructed and so carefully crafted over thousands of years. However, some of what I know is because of the hard work of others, the importance of gathering and sharing testimonies and stories, such as the International Disability Alliance, all of us here, disabled people's organisations and disabled artists. Disabled people have been busy. The pandemic has brought the treatment of disabled people in society into sharp focus. And I will state it again that that is a pre-existing situation. Much of this isn't new to us. I've referred to the vast gap between disability as family and people we know and love, and then how disability is presented as some sort of shameful societal burden. What is the reason for that? And as disabled people, communities in solidarity, what have we done to address it, shift it, and turn it on its head? Our community has been resourceful, innovative, and pioneering. Our disabled academics have put in the time. They have researched, they have gathered our testimonies, they've analysed social policy and social constructs. They have told the world, but the world hasn't listened. Our disabled artists have put in the time. They have created platforms, challenged dominant thinking and lazy stereotypes. They have offered up new stories told in new ways. They've corrected old mistold stories with accuracy from disability perspectives. They have told the world, but the world hasn't listened. Our disabled activists, disabled people's organisations and journalists have put in the time, researched, reacted, put their lives on the line, chained themselves to every injustice possible for decades. They've told the world, but the world hasn't listened. Any change that has come about for disabled people has come from that hard work, from lifetimes given to activism, from self-determination and rights movements, and from allies who have committed to us along the way. And this is the hope that we must not forget in the bleakness. Real power comes when we unite. And when we unite on a large scale, the world is forced to listen and take action. But I don't know any disabled people. When challenged about why more disabled people are not visible in public life, we hear this. And yet there are so many of us. Disability is family. The World Health Organization European Office estimates that there are over 135 million disabled people living in Europe. In some of our local areas, 20 to 25% of the population are disabled people. That is a lot of people. We know disabled people. But perhaps that gap comes when we don't recognise the people that we know and care about and value in that negative picture of disabled people, where we are presented as the deficit version of the human being. It has a distancing and dehumanizing effect. The people we know don't fit that mold. But equally, this mysterious, homogenous group of people is presented as passive recipients with meaningless lives. As a result of that gap in understanding, it's possible to continue with the myth of broken people and justify inconsequential deaths in a pandemic. It means we can be institutionalized, segregated as disabled people are in Romania and Estonia, sent to live hundreds of miles away from our families in many European countries, become the hidden shame that has so much stigma attached. Why is our message so repeatedly unheard? How can we shift our message, shift thinking, shift cultures so that our message is received and understood? When we speak out in protest, we're civil disobedience, domestic extremists sometimes. And recently, in the UK, Disability News Service has been described as vexatious by the government for seeking the truth. Seeking the truth about the impact of changes to benefits, where disabled people are already living on less than the breadline. The United Nations and Amnesty International have reported human rights abuses of disabled people in the last decade, pre-pandemic, and we hear stories, in this case from Italy, but all over Europe. And I quote, situations beneath the level of human dignity. And that's from the International Disability Alliance website. And we fight this. And there is hope. I promise you, there is hope. We together are the hope. But we have to be clear and we have to be honest about our position in the pandemic. So before the pandemic, there was, well, it's almost impossible to separate what has happened to disabled people during the pandemic from how it was before the pandemic. The pandemic has built upon austerity, poverty, and low status. So we must gather the stories, we must gather and share the testimonies, however hard it is to hear. The narrative about pre-existing and underlying conditions, vulnerability, age, and obesity has impacted on our medical treatment when ill. Learning disabled people have not even been counted. Do not resuscitate orders and frailty scores are used to triage us even before we become ill. We've had to shield and isolate, many people cut off, no access to food, money, services, no PPE for PAs and support staff. Inaccessibility has been exacerbated. No sign language for important messages from government. There are testimonies of people abandoned, left in bed for hours, left sitting in a wheelchair for hours, no access to toilets, hygiene, and human dignity. There has been isolation, bullying, and erasure. Many of us have had to fight for vaccines. PAs, families, and neighbours have become our literal lifelines. And there has been death and dying. And still, eugenics, population policies, social Darwinism, survival of the fittest are pushed forward as the solution. Why do stories matter? It's almost impossible to separate what has happened to disabled people socially and politically from art and culture. Culture is the vehicle for the messages of who we are as nations. We have to challenge the old stories which have modelled us in a certain way. Helpless, weak, pitiful. That's not me, and that's not you. We are told stories from the moment we're born, and those messages stick. So we have to be careful about stories. And there are notions that the arts are the arts in capital letters for other people, posh people, when in fact, the arts are around us all the time. The things that give us the most pleasure in our daily lives. The music on the radio that we sing in the bath. Films and TV drama that grips us to the edge of our seat and grabs our imaginations. Comedy from people who make us laugh so much. Pictures and sculptures everywhere. We even send art to each other to mark special occasions, birthdays, anniversaries, and seasonal cards. Art and culture is not remote from us. It is in our everyday lives. Art and culture matters. Disabled artists and academics have helped us to unpick some of the most entrenched stories to reveal that disabled people have historically been shown in similar and stereotypical ways for thousands of years, and it continues in dominant art and culture. We're just sort of pinned there to benefit other people's stories. It perpetuates our status and misrepresents us. We are rarely in leading roles. We are rarely decision making. We rarely have power. And certainly in the arts, we are rarely producers, directors, writers, gallery curators. So the national stories haven't been changing on the surface of things. Solidarity, rights, and the role of culture. What has worked? We refuse to lose hope because there is so much more to art and culture than the monotone version presented to us as dominant. There are treasures and jewels in our communities, our arts communities, challenging, creating, provoking, banging on doors, banging drums to be seen and heard, to challenge how we are shown, demanding our rightful place. We have a stake in all of our national stories, and we must not settle for less. If culture is a site of oppression, culture is also the site of liberation and freedom. And we fight for that in what we say, in what we craft. And disabled artists have made a huge difference to the discussion about disability rights. Disabled people have come together to reclaim culture and to celebrate our identities and communities in the most clever, creative ways. We've continued to make work to protest and stay visible. Networks give us solidarity. There have been amazing examples of created work, new platforms, and we've all got very DIY in how we share our work. We are making our own opportunities. We shall not be removed in the UK. disabled artists network and collectives all over Europe, Disconsortia in the Northeast, obviously Disability Arts Cymru, collectives in Ireland, European theatre companies and projects. Strength in numbers, strength in solidarity. We caution in the rush to reopen before it's safe for everyone. The rise of the digital world has opened up so many new channels of discussion, but we must not forget those without access to the internet and the digital world. We are not community without everyone. No one must be left behind. We've created guidelines and principles of inclusion. We have a stake. What we can do and what we must do. We have been consistently breaking the mold. We are speaking out, we are raising the roof, and we are lighting fires. We are demanding change. Culture is about who we are as humanity. It's time to change the stories and how they're told, and it's time to change who tells the stories. Together, we can build a raw, create a new wave of cultural activism which refuses to accept second best. We will paint, write, film, sing, play music. We have to look beyond what has gone before. Art and culture matter in the fight for equality. Disability is family. We are family. Thank you.
I'd like to thank you so much, Vicky, for that brilliant provocation, which reminds us again of the importance of social justice, of solidarity, of cultural activism, the importance of our stories, and how we must not be erased, and why no one should be left behind. I'm hugely grateful, and I'm sure we all are, to you for that, our first provocation on such an exciting and exhilarating project that I hope we're all embarking on together. So heartfelt thanks to you, Vicky. And I am Kate O'Reilly. I'm a white woman. I've got short curly hair with blue eyes behind glasses, wearing black and grey. And I'm a disabled Irish, Wales-based artist who is unbelievably proud to be involved with this project. I'd like to thank all the contributors to this stimulating hour. The artists who shared their films with us, our speakers representing their organisation from Wales, Ireland, Sweden, and Portugal. I want to give my thanks again to Vici Wreford-Sinnott for that brilliant provocation, and also to thank Ruth Fabi and Sarah Beer of Disability Arts Cymru for taking the lead on the project, and, of course, huge thanks to our funders, the European Cultural Foundation. Over the coming months, we will be rolling out other conversations and must not miss events like the one today. We're wanting to stimulate and provoke, as Vicky just did in her talk. And we invite you, artists, activists, academics, audiences, the curious, to engage and respond via the website, which we are launching today, which is in the chat, but is NCED _space. So please do check out that link in the chat. So the website is evolving and material will be added constantly. But if you go on there, which I hope you will, as soon as we finished, you'll see a connect button on the top right-hand side of the screen. And if you click there, you will connect with the project and be kept informed of events and forthcoming announcement about commissioning disabled, deaf and neurodivergent identifying artists to create our online gallery of European disability arts. So please do check that out and connect with us. We're hungry to engage with you. We live in extraordinary times, and the temper of these times seems to be division. From politics to the pandemic, we're on opposing sides or constantly encouraged to shield, socially distance, stay apart. And this is why a culture of solidarity is so important, and that this project is important, enabling us to come together across Europe, and as we can see from the chat, across the world. We have people here today beyond Europe and the EU who are with us. This project will enable us to come together, to share, learn from each other, to be stronger in solidarity, to ensure we will not be left behind or erased. And we hope very much that the website will become a buzzing hive of experiences, responses, and the site for the commissioned artworks we will invite, responding to the content of our conversations, like the one today. And this will be one of the ways we will not be erased. Please connect. Please join us on this journey. And huge thanks to all who came in the spirit of European and global solidarity. And I'm thanking you all, and now finally passing back to Ruth Fabi, Artistic Director of Disability Arts Cymru, for our closing words. Thank you.
Dear Kate, it has been an amazing event, and I'm so thankful for all the incredible richness of the people who are brought together. And Vicky, that talk, you've said it as it is, and you said it as we need to move forward. And I know we can do that together. So as we come to a close, I'm going to encourage you all to go to the main view, the gallery view, so we can all see each other and give a big wave in terms of applause. And also take your mags off and just say, hi, thank you, bye, whatever. So after 3, 1, 2, 3. Hi.
Hi.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Don't forget, go
Bye,
on to
everyone.
the website.
Well done,
Take
all.
care. Be safe. Bye.
Well done.
Thank you so much.
Yay, woo.
Thank you.
Well done. Bye.
Bye.
Excellent.
Great work, lads. Great talks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you all.
Lovely to see you, Florin.
Say to you, Sarah. Hi, everyone. Very good. Keep it well.
Florin.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for this lovely meeting.
Sherlock. Oh, it's gone.
Yes.
Oh.
We just want to stay together, don't we? It's so hard not meeting